Hello guys, this is Adit. Welcome to my channel Movement Science, where I simplify biomechanics with Joe. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Also check me out on Instagram, where I post pictures of my notes and also put out some daily MCQs. The reference time for all the topics that I'm going to cover will be mentioned down in the description, so check that out and let's get started. In this video, we are going to talk about the kinematics of lumbar spine. So till now we have covered the thoracic, cervical, and now we are going to cover the lumbar spine. Under each spine, what did we talk about? We talked about the structure, kinematics and kinetics. Under structures, we talked about the vertebral body. Kinematics was about the movements and kinetics was the forces. Now forces we haven't covered in much detail, and a lot of forces are created by these muscles. So the muscles around the spine, the cervical, thoracic and lumbar spine, we will cover in the future videos, okay? I wanted to make an announcement that we are going to hold a debate on lumbar spine flexion, whether it's good or bad for your spine. It's not going to be a totally black and white topic. We will be talking about various components in it. I've mentioned about this more in my Instagram, Movement Science Stories. So go check that out. Okay? So coming back to the topic of lumbar spine kinematics, here I will be talking about the basic lumbopelvic rhythm. We will also cover the basic movements that occur in the vertebra. Again, if you are writing an answer for exam, you can always add the normal movements that occur in the spine, which I have spoken about in the kinematics of spine in general topic. So this over here, I will be mentioning some movements and some specific things about the lumbar spine. Okay. So let's start with the topic. So starting with the lumbopelvic rhythm. The lumbopelvic rhythm is the movement that is occurring between the lumbar flexion and also the anterior pelvic tilt when you are bending forward, and vice versa, that is lumbar extension and posterior pelvic tilt when you are coming back. So if we take Joe over here, Joe only has the anterior pelvic tilt motion, right? His pelvis over here, as you can see, this is his pelvis, right, is tilting anteriorly, and lumbar spine is stiff over here. So when there is flexion in the lumbar spine, that would be bending forward. So basically your lumbopelvic rhythm has two components. There is the lumbosacral flexion, which Joe lacks, and then the anterior pelvic tilt, which we can see. And this happens in the order, okay? So when you're bending down, first lumbosacral flexion will occur, and then followed by that will be the anterior pelvic tilt, which will be occurring. And both these components will help you to improve or increase the total range of motion that is seen in the lumbar region. And the vice versa will happen when you are coming up, right? From bend down position, when you are coming up, vice versa will happen. So hip motion, if you see, will help you to improve the range of motion and reduce the flexibility that is required in the lumbar region. So the hip motion is basically the anterior pelvic tilt I am referring. So when there is a movement that is occurring at the hip joint, the lumbosacral flexion range that is required to go down is reduced because the anterior pelvic tilt is contributing for the flexion movement, right? It also prevents excessive lengthening of the annulus and the posterior longitudinal ligament. Okay, so the hip motion over here, the second component of going down, it helps you to reduce the lengthening of the annulus and also the posterior longitudinal ligament. So hence it has a protective function, and this lumbopelvic rhythm overall, it helps in improving the range of motion and preventing excessive stress on the structures. Now if you notice, it is very similar to the scapulohumeral rhythm that we see in the shoulder, right? The scapula, the movement of the scapula helps in improving the range of motion, and it also has a lot of stability component to it. So that was about the lumbopelvic rhythm in brief. Now let us move on to the vertebral motion in the lumbar region. So in the lumbar region, there is flexion, which involves anterior tilt and anterior glide of the lumbar vertebra. So I get two vertebrae over here, and flexion will involve anterior tilt and anterior glide, and then extension will involve posterior tilt and posterior glide. Now the disc will compress anteriorly and the nucleus will move posteriorly. So let us get the disc over here. So disc is present between the lumbar vertebrae. So when flexion is occurring, there will be compression of the disc anteriorly and the nucleus which is there will move posteriorly in the posterior direction, and vice versa will happen in extension, right? Apart from this, there will be the intervertebral space which will be reducing in extension, and flexion, what will happen? It will increase, right? So if you can see over here, this space that you can see is the intervertebral space from where the spinal nerves also come out, right? So when you are doing flexion, during flexion the space will be increased, and during extension the space will be reduced. So that is about the intervertebral space, how it changes with flexion and extension. Now going to the points which are more specific to the lumbar region is, first, there is high flexion and extension movement in the lumbosacral region, and this happens because of the sagittal plane orientation of the facets, right? We have discussed about this in the previous videos also. The sagittal plane orientation helps in more flexion extension movement compared to a thoracic. If you see, it is in the frontal plane, hence the movement is lateral flexion. So the orientation of the facet is very important to know the kinematics or the direction of movement that is occurring at the lumbar region. Now, lateral flexion and rotation is high at the upper lumbar region, and it starts reducing as you go to the lower lumbar region. Now, if you remember, in the thoracic region, what was happening? The upper thoracic was in the frontal plane, and then as you kept going downward, it started becoming more in the sagittal plane, right? There was some transition happening from thoracic to lumbar. Now over here in lumbar, what will happen? The upper lumbar will be more similar to the thoracic, and as you keep going down, it will be a proper lumbar where flexion extension will be more. So it will be exactly opposite to thoracic, what we saw in the thoracic. So it will be high lateral flexion and rotation component in the lumbar region, in the upper lumbar region. That is very important. And as you keep going downward, the flexion extension will increase in the lumbosacral region, right? So basically, if you see, the orientation will start with more in the transverse plane, where cervical will have transverse plane orientation over here like this, right? Where the rotation will be more. Then as you come down, there will be thoracic, which will have frontal plane arrangement of the facets, which will improve your lateral flexion and some amount of rotation. And as you keep going down from thoracic, lower thoracic will have more of flexion movement compared to rotation. And as you go even more down, there will be the sagittal plane orientation. So from transverse we go to frontal, and then from there we go to sagittal, where flexion extension is more. So this is how the facet orientation determines which movement is going to be more in that particular region of the spine. Okay, so this is how important the facet joint orientation is. And with that we finish off the topic also. So now let's summarize. We talked about the lumbopelvic rhythm, where there is two components. There is the lumbosacral flexion happening first, and then second part is the anterior pelvic tilt. What does Joe lack? Joe lacks the lumbosacral flexion. There is just anterior pelvic tilt that we can see. The lumbar region over here is fixed, right? Then we saw why it is important. It helps you to improve the range of motion in your lumbar region, because your hip motion that is present, that is the anterior pelvic tilt, it helps you to improve the range of motion, reduce the flexibility required, and also anulus and the posterior longitudinal ligament, they are not excessively lengthened. Then going to the next one, that is the vertebral motion. There is flexion extension, which is most predominant in the lumbar region, and as you keep going down, it keeps increasing, right? More in the upper lumbar region, there is lateral flexion and rotation, which is high, but as you keep going downward, it is proper flexion extension, which is more. So with that, we finish off this topic. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also like the video, as it really helps me out. Also let me know in the comment section what other videos you would like me to cover. And see you soon in the next video.